Here we go. Let's talk about the juvenile hall, the criminal justice system for our youth. It needs some serious upgrades. More and more every year, we're losing more of our youth to the streets because their families are turning them away because they're joining with LGBTQ, having gender identity crisis. They reach puberty and they want to get out on their own, and things start to go bad for them real quick. So I want to take a look at a few opportunities out there. Early on is the best prevention. When the parent or the teacher or the doctor, when they're 4 or 5 years old and start to see a pattern of disobedience, where they're not listening very well. It's not so much teaching them how to read or write. That's important. Okay. But when it comes to them misbehaving, that's worse. Okay. So forget about teaching them to read and write, at that point in their life. It's more to, let's just freeze that. And let's start teaching them how to behave and how to be accepted and loved. I think there's a big disconnect there when we start to deal with our youth and how to deal with them, instead of saying, oh, just do your homework. The teacher says you ain't been doing your homework, this, that one thing, because whatever's bothering them. So when they go to reform them, instead of forcing them to do homework, forcing them to learning and reading, let's take another look at this and say, okay, well, let's teach them how to behave. Let's teach them how to love. Let's teach them how to be accepted, in other words, I think is a way to start. And the earlier, the better. And then as we go through this, hopefully we can get it better. And it's just all about communication. It's about being there for them is the healthiest and most productive thing, whether they're at home or at school or with their friends, is just being there and being aware of the situation. But let's take a look at mass incarceration numbers for the youth. It's terrible. We need to start with diversion is the biggest thing out there. When they get out on the streets because they're turned away or they run away, they start basically shoplifting at first. Then they start experimenting with alcohol, and then they go on, and then the crimes get worse. And then if they join the gang, that's where they get guns, and that's where it really blows out of control. So we want to look at levels in between there to head them off. So diversion is the biggest thing. And then decriminalization of, like, if they steal something a minor crime, instead of just sticking them away. So decriminalization, some of the crimes, and also deinstitutionalize them. And then due process. Those are some of the 4 major areas that we need to look at to help keep our youth out of those centers, because they are seriously violent in there. They beat the heck out of one another in there. The guards are rough and mean to them. Once they misbehave a little bit, then guards basically got it out for you, the ones that misbehave. Then it just gets worse. And then the sexual assaults and the abuse, especially for the black and brown minorities. It's really bad for them, especially more on the black side, they said. They're really suffering in the juvenile hall, the criminal justice, the youth system. It's terrible discriminations and violent practices. Anyway, I want to try to introduce, just like you got telehealth, a doctor calls you on the phone. We're going to have telejudge, telecourt system. That way, anything to help keep that child and the parent from missing work, in the future, where a judge should be able to call you, from your own home or on your phone and be able to talk to you and your child. And then also introducing auto plea. It's a website you go to and you automatic make a plea for yourself or your son or your daughter. Just it cuts down in crowded courtrooms, okay? Traffic congestion, smog environment. It's better for everyone. Plus, it's a little bit cheaper method and better staying in contact and also reaching that youth, an authority figure like a judge coming on screen, or a probation or a diversion officer, call it, because it's a diversion. So there's different levels, whatever level they're going to. But, for first offenders and second, to keep them from going down to the courthouses and being arrested. With auto plea, we'll basically be able to arrest you right in your own home, okay? Or when the parent's having a problem with the child, and then the police come over, see, instead of the police arresting your child and taking them down to jail, well, we're going to put a system into place, propose a system to put into place, where when the cop comes over, you got a problem with the child. Well, You know, the judge might not come on right away, but you'll go into auto plea right away as soon as the cop leaves. You log on to auto plea, and you plead your case. That way, if it's get on house arrest, then you go and get your bracelet. And then the judge eventually the next day or whenever the business day, he'll check out your case and then get back to you and let you know what's going to do. And this is ways of saving both sides money, and also that the lapse of time. So if if you're already in trouble and they got the goods on you, or your kid's already done wrong, why hold it up? Why wait a month to go to court? Why keep the parent angry? And why make the parent miss work and get more angry and go to court? So there's a lot of good that could come out of this auto plea system. So we're putting that out there. But the best thing is for our youth is being there. When they get on the streets and they're turned away, we need some type of system to stay in contact with them. Because that's the best thing for them. That's the healthiest thing, is stay in contact, tell them we care, we love them, and we're trying to provide for them, get them off the streets, and try to cut them off from getting in the gangs. Because that's when as soon as they join the gang, then there's a gun and they kill somebody, and then now they're stuck in there for quite a long time. So there's some major work to do. Until next time.